What's going on YouTube? It's Teach back again with another video. And today I'm giving you my picks for week 10 of the NFL season. Excited to see some more football. Before I get into my spiel and my routine, I want to say sorry, not a whole lot of videos lately. Work has been absolutely crazy. It's NCAA tournament time for fall sports. We're getting into basketball season, so I have been beyond busy. Plus, it was my birthday this past week, so I was in Pittsburgh for the Monday Night Steelers game. That was a ton of fun and, kind of limited how much I could do with YouTube. I'm still trying to plug out videos on a consistent basis, but give me some time here over the rest of this week, and I think I can get back into that routine. That point aside, hopefully you all enjoyed today's video. If you do, hit that like button. It would help me out a ton. And if you're new to the channel, like what you see, hit that big red subscribe button and comment your picks for the week down below, especially some upset picks. Tell me where we can get some controversial outlooks for this upcoming slate of football. Love to talk some ball with you down in the comments section. Without further ado, let's jump into it. Starting with a Thursday night game, I'm taking the Ravens. And if you're new to these videos, I'm going to talk a little bit about the spread, but I'm also going to be picking winners. Additionally, you'll see my record last week. Not great. It was kind of a weird week of football, so 7-7 doesn't feel too bad. Still went 500 overall, up and over 90 wins now. So feeling pretty good about where we're at there. To continue on now, Ravens by 7.5, I feel comfortable with both. Honestly, if you were to ask me a score prediction, I'm leaning towards like 54-3. I think this could be an ugly Thursday night game. And it could be, because the MVP race is so wide open right now, I could see this be the big game that moves Lamar Jackson out in front of the rest of the pack. So that's kind of my feeling for the game. But yeah, I'm feeling really confident about Baltimore stealing the show tonight. On to the Sunday slate, Falcons and Cowboys. Talking winners here, give me Dallas. I think they need a bounce back win after a disappointing loss last week against Denver. That said, 8 points is a lot, and Dallas's defense is kind of heading in the opposite direction. They're just too turnover dependent. And when they don't get those takeaways, it can be a problem. Meanwhile, Atlanta's starting to stitch up some things on the defensive side. A.J. Terrell continues to be fantastic. Deion Jones is still really good. Grady Jarrett's obviously fantastic as well. And they're figuring out some pass rushers. They're still not great, but they're finding some sort of production from that bunch. I think it's a bounce back week for Kyle Pitts as well. Not that he was bad last week, but I think this could be another monster showing against Dallas. 8 points feels like a lot for Dallas to try to cover. So if we're talking spread, I'd probably lean Atlanta. Overall, I probably just wouldn't bet the spread in this game. Already thrown some money on this Ravens spread, and I'll talk about some of the games I've already bet on when it comes to the spread and how confident I am in those numbers compared to this one. I'll take Dallas to win outright. If we're talking spread, give me Atlanta with the 8 points. On to Tennessee, New Orleans. If you're not giving me 3, I'm taking Tennessee. If this was Jameis Winston, this would feel like one of those weird Saints games that they win and you're not exactly sure why, right? Like, obviously, week 1, weird things happened, but New Orleans just embarrasses Green Bay. Nobody really saw that coming. And then the Saints taking down Tampa. There were some people who were saying, hey, they did it last year twice in the regular season. They could do it again this year. But I still feel like a majority of people were taking Tampa Bay in that contest. And otherwise, if Jameis Winston is playing in this game, I think it's another one of those where it's like, oh, okay, the Saints won. Okay, that's a little peculiar, a little odd, but makes sense. They're a good squad. But if it's Trevor Siemian, yeah, I'll take Tennessee, even if it's, Adrian Peterson in the backfield and Ryan Tannehill doing his best with what he's got. So give me Tennessee, and I'll lay the 2.5 points. Colts and Jaguars. I'm taking Indianapolis. I know the Jags got a win last week, and I think that's more of a reflection on where Buffalo kind of was coming into the contest than where Jacksonville was, because it wasn't pretty from the Jags side either. Defense was a lot better, and we got to see Joe Culley as a DC scheme up pressure, and that's kind of what you would expect coming from that Wink Martindale tree. So that was an encouraging sign, I think, for Jags fans watching that one, and obviously a big day for defensive end pass rusher Josh Allen as well. Not going to add on to all the terrible jokes that came on this weekend. Browns and Pats. This is a popular upset pick, but give me the Browns and the 2.5 points you're willing to give me. I mean, I know it's not a key number, right? Those first 2 points don't really mean a whole lot. It's once you get to 3, but I just think Cleveland's a better football team, and especially last week, you see them missing taking OBJ out of the offense, and it just becomes so much more efficient. It does not make sense. Addition by subtraction. This is kind of what the Pittsburgh Steelers were trying to go for when they let AB loose and they let Le'Veon Bell walk. But this is a legitimate case of where I think a team is actually better without a star-level player. And it's good for OBJ now. He gets to go get a big opportunity and a contender status, and prop up his value before he becomes a free agent again this upcoming offseason. So good for OBJ, good for the Browns. I'll take them despite them being in Foxborough. I know Bill Belichick, especially this year, feels like he's picking on young QBs even more. But I think Kevin Stefanski is a really good OC, and especially with no OBJ in the mix, he seems to put together really sound offensive game plans. And even if there's no Nick Chubb, and Kareem Hunt, D'Ernest Johnson has proven to be a very nice fit in that offense. I think the running game will be good enough against the Pats defense to then set up play action and big plays from that point onward. Jets, Bills, if we're talking spread here, like I said, I'll take Cleveland there with the 2.5 points. Continuing on, give me the Bills to win. If we're talking spread, especially if it's Mike White, I don't know, Mike White was looking kind of nice last Friday. He came out there and he was throwing a lot of zip on it in those first 2 drives, and he didn't look too bad. So if Mike White's starting and you're giving me 11 points, maybe I'll take the Jets to cover. Otherwise, give me the Bills to win this upcoming week. I'll take the Steelers to win, but this is another one where I like the Lions to cover. Asking Big Ben, this Pittsburgh offense, to win by a full 8 points feels a little generous, right? Like, up by double digits at half against Chicago, then the game was just, of course, interesting. It's just the Steelers' way of doing it. Get out to a big lead in the first, make it close in the second. And I think that could be the case here, where it's like a backdoor cover and the Lions are able to get back underneath 8 to cover the spread. So taking the Steelers to win, I'll take the Lions to cover. Washington football team in Tampa Bay, I'm taking the Bucs to win and cover. I don't think this game is going to be close. I think this is another potential blowout spot, similar-ish to the Ravens game on Thursday night and what I said about Lamar Jackson. If it doesn't happen with the Ravens and Lamar on Thursday, could be Tom Brady doing it on Sunday and winning by 35, 40 points. He has 4 touchdowns and just looks unbelievable against a Washington defense that has been really, for whatever reason, bad this year, and wasting the talent on that side of the football, even just in the front 7. It's a really missed opportunity there for Washington. Additionally, bad quarterback play against a solid defense and a good defensive coordinator. Give me Tampa Bay. I know they're on the road, but they did it in the postseason, and that was with Chris Godwin dropping passes left and right. I'm fully confident the Bucs is another one I have money on. Panthers and Cardinals. I'll take the Cardinals to win. How about that win last week? No DeAndre Hopkins, no Kyler Murray, and they still get it done against the 49ers. Obviously, you get to see my power rankings this week, but San Francisco is definitely plummeting once you get to see my power rankings next week. But I like Arizona. I think it's a good football team, and hopefully they're coming back and a little bit healthier this week. And Sam Darnold's just not good. So 10.5 points is a large amount, but there is a huge discrepancy between what Kyler Murray's doing this season and where Sam Darnold's been post-week 3. So, I'll take the Cardinals with confidence. 10.5 points. I'm probably not touching the spread, but if I was, I'd probably go Arizona to cover. And Vikings and Chargers. I'll take the Chargers to win, partially because I think this Vikings team, more than any other team I've ever seen, and it always feels like I'm saying this about Minnesota teams, they should be better than their record, but they always blow it. They just find a way to lose games, and I think that's part of the reason I'd like to see a coaching change for that team. Mike Zimmer's, I think he'll become a good defensive coordinator right after, kind of similar to what Todd Bowles has become. It didn't really work out as a head coach, and had some ups, had some downs, and overall, I think did good things for that franchise, but then becomes a defensive coordinator and becomes a really damn good one, and wins the Super Bowl with Tampa Bay. And I think that could be something Mike Zimmer reverts back to, but he's just not the guy to lead this team moving forward. So I'll take the Chargers to win. The 3 points is a tough mark. If you got it to 3.5 with Minnesota, I'd take Minnesota and the points, but this game's going to be close. Both these teams just have a knack for keeping it within one single possession. So with the 3 points, maybe I take Minnesota, just a rule of thumb. If it's a coin toss for me and I'm forced to put money on it, like guns to my head, I'll take the team that I'm getting points with it, right? So if I were betting spread, I'd probably go Minnesota, but picking a winner, let me get the LA Chargers. Eagles, Broncos. This feels kind of like a letdown spot here for Denver. They overachieved last week. Now I think they're set to underachieve. They'll kind of hit that fluctuation throughout the rest of the season. Plus, the Eagles hung tough against a good team last week in the Chargers. Now I know a lot of it comes late. That seems to be a Jalen Hurts-ism. But overall, I think the Eagles just might be a better football team in this one. It's close, right? But Yeah, I'll just take Philadelphia. I feel like Jalen Hurts can do a little bit more than what Teddy Bridgewater does on most days. Now, I know he was a little bit better this past week, but overall, I think I just like Philadelphia a little bit more. But yeah, this is not a game I'm betting whatsoever. Packers and Seahawks. So this is a complicated one. I am making this pick with the mindset that it's Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers duking it out. And if that's the case, 3.5 points is probably a good spread. I'll take Green Bay to win, but if we were talking spread and that's the situation, I'd probably go Russell Wilson to keep it close and keep it within a field goal just because these two quarterbacks are two of the best doing it. And it feels like a game that's going to be all about the QBs, and that's the focus of the conversation, like it should have been last week with Green Bay and Kansas City. But obviously, things got in the way of that. But I'll take Green Bay to win, but Seattle to cover if that is the situation. And I think it looks like it's going to be. It looks like it's definitely going to be Russell Wilson. Comes down to the COVID protocols and Aaron Rodgers. If it's Jordan Love, then just hammer home Seattle. But if it's the two-star quarterbacks going at it, I like where this line is at. It's tough, but I'll take Green Bay to win, Seattle to cover. But that's going to be a really fun one to watch. I think Green Bay is just a slightly better team. Granted, no Jair Alexander. They're still banged up a lot on the defensive side, especially in the secondary. But I just think Green Bay is a little bit better. And plus, they might be getting some offensive reinforcements. If they sign OBJ, I doubt he plays just because, like, how much of the playbook will he really know? Especially considering, at the time of recording this, it's Thursday. And I'm kind of anticipating it's going to happen today. But that said, that'd be a really quick turnaround for a guy having to learn a pretty complicated offense with a lot of motion, a lot of moving parts to it. So probably wouldn't see him. But anyways, it could, boost the morale there in Green Bay. Moving on to Sunday Night Football, I think I'm going to go with the Raiders here. Now, things have been tough. And I don't want to, talk anymore about the Henry Ruggs thing that I did last week. I already kind of went on my tangent there and gave my thoughts. This is also the same, within a month's time frame of, the John Gruden situation coming to a rise. And now you have Damon Arnett and that whole debacle. And there's no positive sides really, but Damon Arnett was just not somebody getting playing time compared to Henry Ruggs, who was the key part of the offense. And John Gruden was the play caller, right? It's his scheme. Overall, though, this team has done a good job handling those prior situations, and the exception is the week of the Gruden stuff, and then obviously this past week was a disappointing loss against the Giants. Granted, cross-country travel, they can obviously make things difficult from time to time, so it's a tough one to measure there, and it's right off the Henry Ruggs situation, but feels like, once you get a little bit of separation from that, they're able to bounce back, get back on track. Now we'll see how this Damon Arnett thing maybe contextualizes how we look at this game and causes more issues for the Raiders, but it's just not been pretty for Kansas City. Even last week they struggled against Green Bay and Jordan Love, and the defense did look better, but I think part of that might be, Jordan Love didn't get to practice Devontae Adams, so a lot of, back shoulder throws missed, and a lot of other tough things that are just not going to happen, night in and night out when you play Green Bay, even if it's Jordan Love, if he actually gets to have a full week of practice with his stars, things could have turned out differently in my eyes. But in this situation, it's a true coin toss to me. And like I said earlier, I'll take the team that's getting the points in that situation. So I'm definitely doing that for the spread and for the winner. The Raiders got one on Kansas City last year, and I think the Raiders were worse last year in a lot of ways, and I think Kansas City was better. Now it's closer to an equal state. Maybe even the Raiders are better, right? They're the top of the division for a reason. I don't know. Give me the Raiders at home, and I'll take the 2.5 points. Thank you very much. And then Monday Night Football, I'm taking the Rams to get back on track, and I think they'll cover this 3.5. If San Francisco couldn't win at home against Kellen Moore and a Cardinals team down DeAndre Hopkins, also a week removed from no J.J. Watt. Coming into the season, people would have probably made an argument those are the three best players on this team. And if not the three best, they're three of the top five on the roster. And the Cardinals still got it done. And that is just a tough look there for San Francisco. Now, whenever they make the QB change to Trey Lance, I might re-up my stock for the 49ers just because I like what that offense could then build to. But at this point, it still looks like it's Jimmy G, even though we're getting late in the year, and the 49ers might need that little stimulus to get it back in the wild card hunt. But that said, division games can be weird. This one could stay close, so maybe you like San Francisco with 3.5 points, trying to keep it a field goal game because, again, it's a division matchup and weird things happen. But I think the Rams need to bounce back, and they've done a good job this year after their weird losses. At least the first time out, they had a weird loss, bounced back, and looked really good the next week. So I'm kind of anticipating more of the same. I think Stafford gets right, limits the turnovers, no 360 tosses from the end zone that results in a turnover, and the opposing team having the ball at the 4-yard line, right? Take away those weird, huge game-switching plays, and I think Los Angeles is in a good spot to take down San Francisco. But that's going to do it for my picks for Week 10 of the NFL season. Comment your outlook for the upcoming week down in the comment section. Give me some games you like to bet, maybe some upset picks. Overall, tell me who your favorite team is. Do you think they get the win this week? That's a fun conversation in and of itself. Hopefully you all enjoyed today's video. If you did, hit that like button. It would help me out a ton. And if you're new to the channel, like what you saw, hit that big red subscribe button. That's going to do it for me. Hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day. And until next time, we are signing off.